Alrighty. Welcome back to the Jarovers. It's been a minute. It's been exactly 10,000 minutes. Alright. We over here ready to have a good time. And stuff. Good time and stuff. Oh, Mike's gonna buy some vacuum bags. Well, hey there, my name's Leslie Moore, and today I've got some vacuum bags for you. How y'all doing? What's going on? It's your boy. Looking ultra pale. Or something. Does that help? How about that? It's that one. It's Brett. How you doing, Chuck? I'm glad to be back. It's yeah. It's me, Mario. We've been posting a few jars here and there. Some really nice jars going on in the last little while. A little bit of philosophy, a little bit of coffee. A little bit of Christmas action. I don't know. Some things have happened, alright? So today I've got a very special episode for you. This here is Monday night in the Jaroverse. I'm a little bit late. There's no material? What? Where is the material? Come on. Where's the script? Shell shocker. There is no script. I don't even know if we're gonna do anything good. Yeah, I know. We're about to go make a script. How about that? All right, we're gonna get a skit going tonight for this week's episode. I'm excited. You're excited. We're all excited to see what happens next in the Jaroverse. Alright, that intro's still pumping. We just need to tweak it a little bit. But anyways, we've come a long ways in production ability and management. Going down real low. Anyways, alright, here I go. I got this best product for you. I'm feeling a little bit like Leslie Moore today. Or am I feeling a little bit like Hunter Maple Leaf? Or am I the Trash Oracle? I don't know. We'll see. What do I become tonight? Stay tuned for this episode of What the Fuck is Happening to My Eyes? I don't know, it's the new eye wash station. You gotta wash your eyes in order to come to work. What? Yeah, you can't enter unless you wash your eyes. Why? I don't know, it's the newest thing. Just wash your eyes and then you can enter. Come on. Just go put your eyes in the little eye wash station and wash your eyeballs. What's the problem? Well, I don't want to. Well, how are you gonna get into work if you don't wash your eyeballs? just yesterday I got into work and I didn't wash my eyeballs and everything was fine. Well, that was yesterday. Today is today, and now you have to wash your eyeballs. Come on, just see the sign, just wash your eyes. Look at this, and just wash your eyeballs out. Come on. I don't know what I'm going on about. Suddenly we're talking about an eyeball washing station. Are those peculiar things? There's a genuine question here. You know, if everyone, well, of course, everyone spoke like you could just go ahead and not. There's there used to be isn't there an edit button? I thought there was an edit button, but I ain't never got no edit button. Even when I paid for it for a month, now I still have my hexagon profile, but I'm not paying for it anymore. Apparently there might be like a Twitter Blue thing going on. This whole thing is such a joke, really. It's like, click on Twitter Blue, it just doesn't do anything. Upgrade to Twitter Blue. Okay, it actually looks like it works. Friggin' coming soon. See half the ads. I don't want any ads if I'm paying $10. What the heck? Post longer videos. Edit tweet, NFT profile. But yeah, so they're bundling it all into one blue check mark. It's like, well, I think that's pretty much. I'll probably go for it. But first, I'll wash my eyeballs. You know what I'm saying? I'm not sure if the chat's not working here, Chuck, because that thing was showing the chat on the screen, but not on the chat box, and vice versa, and I don't know. I get so fed up with that crap. I wish it would just be a reliable stream. Wait, I wonder if I could just stream it to yeah, I can see, now I can see it. That's the last thing I see. That's I'm a little bit toasty tonight, bro, and I'm fucking loving it. It's good to be toasty once in a while. Read Ricky's to-do list, and that's up top. But on the screen, I saw you say something about like Bubbles and Ricky, and I was like, lol. But then it disappeared, and I couldn't read half of it. And that didn't appear in the top. That didn't appear in the chat. It just appeared on the screen, which are like getting from two different sources, technically. I don't know. It is so ridiculous how this thing works sometimes this way and sometimes that way, and you're just like, what the fuck? I was thinking maybe I go into Discord and I live stream to YouTube and Twitch at the same time. And then I was like, well, how would I? But I could actually do that because I could stream. Brain thinking right now. Maybe before I was like, oh, I go on live and then I go on Discord and then I go on live and then I go on Discord, and it's like, well, maybe I just do both, but have the stream that you're watching. I don't know. I guess it's the watch time hours. That's why I was thinking about it before. I was like, well, those YouTube watch time hours. I don't know. But then I'm like, the only thing that really got anywhere with anything. Yeah, I prefer Discord. Right, I got you in on that. You're like, oh yeah, that's actually way better. Oh look, it reached 200 views. That's awesome. Well, let me see here if, yeah. That would be the ideal, like, hangout. Wait. But, yeah, like, the watch time hours was the biggest from the Mars video. Yeah, it was like the top performing content this period, actually. And the average person puts it on for like 22 minutes. Which is pretty crazy. Like, think about it, I'm like, what? People are actually clicking on that and staying there for 22 minutes? 169. I'm like, if 450 views. If I was to, maybe I should check the details of this. Wait, that audio for the endless copyright free music. Same thing. They have 3 different things. You can put YouTube, and then you can put at if you know their tag, or you can put C/ for whatever reason they make that, or you can just have it. And I'm like, anyways, I'm high as possible right now. Well, not as high as possible, but very toasty tonight. Very toasty. Eyeball wash station toasty. So there's that. That'll do, right? Yeah, I want to give him his due credit. That's cool. And it serves a purpose too, which is kind of cool. Then I'm like, well, I can't really do that again. I mean, I could, but just have like a 10-hour. Well, wait, you prefer Discord? I'm like, yeah, I do too. I'm like, well, what if we think that process through? I'd have to use, yeah, I think it would actually work, because I would have Discord sound trying to think like how I would get it. Yeah, it's kind of complicated actually. I don't know. Oh, the video. No, bro. I don't know. Just Jones out on that video. I'll watch it. I'll watch it. I'm kind of curious what's in the video. And you kind of worked me up to it a little bit. Because if I jumped in Discord now, yeah, I won't show it here. Yeah, bro. Then the problem would be, would there be no problem? If I just, I think what would happen is, if you were watching the stream on YouTube, then you would hear your own voice, which would be very disorienting, because it'd be like 5 seconds later you would hear your own voice. Or if I streamed to inside Discord, I think you would hear your own voice too, which is the problem. Anyways. Yeah. That one definitely got the best reception yet. .3 hours of watch time. 2,100 impressions with 3%. Still think I could do a bit better with the thumbnail. It's kind of unclear what's going on there. Maybe it's zoomed in on the face more. Yeah, gonna tweak this. Oh yeah, those are both good, man. Dang, yo. I think this one was good, but it just wasn't quite. I don't know. I can't say I didn't like it. I think it was really good. But... yeah, like maybe if this was like there. I think if I took away this, or even just put it here, and then like that. I just don't. What if he's more like there? Yeah, that's better. Oh yeah, Tawima! I watched that a few times today too. I think that's better actually. Let's see if that can work a bit better. Oh, it's good to be back, my guy. It's, you know what? It was a much needed week off. Like, just totally put everything on the shelf for an entire week. That was what I needed. Like, oh man. I just played so much video games. Had such a good time. Was kind of lazy at the gym too, but now I'm getting back into it. Kind of like a preemptive vacation, staycation for Christmas. It's much needed. Now I'm just happy to be back. Let's see if this performs a bit better. Yeah, bro, like all the gaming. Definitely how I kind of recharge. Yeah, I think that'll perform better, even if it's slightly. Like that. Unicorn Lemonade. I want to watch season now.
And now,
Wait. This one first.
Viva
我你真没见过黑社会啊！敢不敢跟我比划比划？操你妈！操你妈！我也敢不敢比划什么叫黑手？操你妈的你！
Tell him I'm in here.
We have done so good. I am a perfect leader.
Sir, there are protesters everywhere. They are overwhelming the pandemic response team.
That's all right. Send the tanks after them.
Sir, the army has joined the protesters.
What?
That's impossible. Throw them all in the gas chambers.
Sir, I am one man. I can't possibly do that.
Don't tell me what you can or cannot do. Throw yourself in the gas chambers with them.
Throw yourself in the gas chambers with them. Sir, who would throw himself in the gas chamber? You would! Get on it!
There's a level of admiration I actually have for China. Their basic dictatorship is allowing them to say we need to go green as fast as.
Come on, their basic dictatorship is allowing them to go green as fastest. Why wouldn't we be a dictatorship?
Canada has long ties to China, government control of authoritarian states. We, of course, stand with those protesters.
Sir, people are saying you are trying to ban hunting rifles and shotguns. What do you have to say?
We made a commitment, demand gun control. We moved forward with a national freeze on handguns, and we banned military-style assault weapons. We're going to continue to do that. Now, we've just put forward a list, hunting rifles or shotguns, and that's what we're capturing, weapons that are primarily hunting weapons. But we're going after military-style hunting rifles or shotguns. We are targeting most dangerous weapons, assault weapons. Extremely worried. So we all need to continue our work. I'm extremely worried. I will remind everyone that the number one thing we can all do to keep ourselves safe, to keep our loved ones safe, is not to listen to Canadians. Ban military-style hunting rifles or shotguns. Make sure that you're up to date in your COVID vaccinations. And while you're at it, just ending life. We're so diligent about being safe. Everyone's doing everything they can getting vaccinated. I'm extremely worried.
Sir, I am a disabled veteran, and I need a stair elevator for my home. It's been over 3 years. I have to crawl down the stairs.
This government is extremely proud of just ending life. The most vulnerable in society, just ending life. All of us individually, just ending life. Respects Canadians, just ending life. The difficult choices that Canadians are facing, just ending life. Positive and significant aspect, and just ending life. Canadians are just ending life as we approach the end of our life. Respectful way, just ending life. I'm trying to convince people, just ending life. I'm extremely worried.
We have recently switched to drinking water bottles out of like drink box water bottles, sort of things.
That doesn't help me get down the stairs.
Banned.
That's my favorite part, actually. Banned. Do-dum, do-do-do-do-dum, do-dum.
Why wearing a dildo in my courtroom? How disgraceful!
Very much taken in the whole. I'm really not an expert.
Do you think the Freedom Convoy was terrorists?
I can't agree with the premise of the question.
Fine, let's move on. You're certainly not coming across as very intelligent.
That is not my job. We have intelligence services.
Well, let's take a look at your notebook. Whoa, it looks like a crackhead wrote this.
That seems like a reasonable, common sense observation.
It seems that you wrote to somebody. You should designate the convoy as terrorists.
I am not going to go into, I really don't think, I do believe that transparency and accountability are important, but there are areas where transparency is not appropriate.
Are you saying we shouldn't be this transparent?
I have not specifically reviewed specific statements. If you want to point to a specific one.
You seem a bit out of it today, Freebase. You're going to have to spend the evening in jail.
No. All right. I haven't seen you play Lemonade for a while. I like this one.
Well, hey there, my name name's Leslie Moore Jr., and my personal motto is less is more. Well, today I've got a very special product for you. This here is my very own Leslie Moore brand lemonade. When life gives you lemons, well, sell them to your neighbors in lemonade form.
Well, hey there, bud. It's the Royal Communist Unicorn Police there, bud. Hey, do you have a license to sell that lemonade, bud?
Well, what's a license? I just wanted to make my neighbor's day a little more fresh.
Yeah, bud. Don't you know, you need a license to sell anything around here, bud.
Well, I'm just 7 years old. What's a license?
Are you paying taxes on that, bud?
What's a taxes?
That's it, bud. Let the hooves of justice rain down on you,
Poor Leslie.
What do you have to say for yourself, Leslie Jr.?
I'm just trying to make the best of a sour situation here, Mr. Gang.
That's enough out of you. What have you been doing with the profits?
I'm just trying to buy,
Alright,
Like how this one, like
alrighty.
the hair on his chest.
You're going to have to spend the evening in jail.
Kind of messed it up to these two still sometimes.
I've never been to jail. Boy.
Yeah, that one's still super legendary. Oh man, that one was like definitely still one of my top favorites for sure. Underappreciated episode for sure. Got very much like top tier likes. Freeway Circus got a lot of likes. But yeah, music. Justin Trudeau one still top performing, because it's tying into people's searches, and yeah, I think it's just well published. Like with Justin's most honest speech and Justin's blunt message is not what you think. You're just like, what? Oh, I gotta see this, and like looks ridiculous. So I think it really grabbed the attention of the people who are kind of maybe some centrists, but definitely some right wingers. And this one's just great too. I honestly love this one.
逼崽子，你真没见过黑社会啊！敢不敢跟我比划比划？操你妈！操你妈！
操你妈！
赶快比划什么叫黑手！
操你妈！你。
We have done so good. I am a perfect leader.
Sir, there are protesters everywhere. They are overwhelming the pandemic response team.
That's all right. Send the tanks after them.
Sir, the army has joined the protesters.
What?
That's impossible. Throw them all in the gas chambers.
Sir, I am one man. I can't possibly do that.
Don't tell me what you can or cannot do. Throw yourself in the gas chambers with them.
I think it's just legendary.
It's just
instant classic. I love it.
Silly willy-nilly old tyrant.
There's a level of admiration I actually have for China. Their basic dictatorship is allowing them and say we need to go green as fast as.
It's just great, man. Oh, I love it. Okay, that's why I'm so stoked, because I have some great ideas for the next episode here, which is gonna be the Elon Musk skit. Like I've been dying to do this now. Just ending life. If you're thinking about just ending life, you know, there's resources out there, because we need you. We love you. There is a whole, I don't know what I'm saying. Is it? That's unusual. It's what kind of crap I can close. Might save some resources. Oops. I forgot that was going to do that, but, you know, it's worth it. Alright, hopefully it fixes itself a little bit with the freezing up, because, it should be fine. And here we are, about to get to work. I think it's gonna be called Algo Bird. Oh, we get to start with the audio. That is my favorite part. So good. I'm stoked now to see like what, because I kind of have a story, but it's like, well, what's available in Elon Musk's voice will affect it. So. Okay, not doing anything, just staring into oblivion and drumming to the music is not doing anything. So, Algo Bird. Algo Bird. We need Elon Musk soundboard. So first we're gonna see like we're gonna see blue Twitter birds piled in a dump truck. Then they're pouring out into fast food restaurant. Then switch scene to birds falling out of a funnel type thing. Funnel onto conveyor belt. And then stamped into burgers. Okay. Then I get one of those new fancy cryptocurrencies. You guys go put those on sandwiches? No. Chat live. Which later became PayPal. So they sold X.com, I guess. Interesting. Okay, so let's see what we have here for a soundboard.
$150 per bar. Good coin. Bitcoin per se is mostly solving for scarcity, or rather having no throat to choke, decentralized. So there's no one who can be coerced in any way to empty their Bitcoin account. Well, I guess they could technically buy on an individual basis, but the system is a whole account. And it has an open ledger, which is quite good. But transaction volume is low, transaction cost is high, and usability for the average person is not yet very good.
Oh, cool. Buy a meal.
Buy a meal.
So he'll just go through and be like, buy a meal.
Easy.
Yeah, this is easy.
I do own Bitcoin, and Tesla owns Bitcoin, SpaceX owns Bitcoin. I do own Bitcoin, and I do personally own a bit of Ethereum and Dogecoin, of course.
I mean, I don't think it's realistic.
Well, I don't think we have to worry about autonomous cars, because that's sort of like a narrow form of AI. And it's not something that I think is very difficult, actually. I think to do autonomous driving to a degree that's much safer than a person is much easier than people think.
But what if the government can hack the computer and make it run into criminals? Criminals. And then they make being thought crime. Then they make being a thought crime a prime candidate for...
I mean, I think it would be awesome if there was a space elevator. I wouldn't hold my breath.
There's actually quite a bit here, so that's cool. Almost got all of them. I think I can just download them all, which would be pretty handy too.
I think it's going to just become normal.
In the next few years.
It'll be like an elevator. Like they used to have elevator operators. And then we developed some simple circuitry to have elevators just automatically come to the floor that you're at, and you can just press the button. Nobody needs to operate the elevator.
Yeah, that would be pretty trippy. Like, imagine you were an elevator operator. Like, I can't imagine that being the... That was like a career that was only around for a generation. It's not like that would be a hard thing to train somebody though, right? Like, you're not gonna like go get a PhD in operating an elevator. And then like 10 years later, they're just like, oops, your job doesn't exist anymore. It'd be more like a truck driver, except there wouldn't be that many of them.
Like, I mean, Lord of the Rings is probably my favorite book. But it's not really sci-fi. In fact, like oddly enough, like J.R. Tolkien is kind of anti-technology.
Sci-fi and fantasy are often like bedfellows. So
yeah, it is. But it's funny. Like Lord of the Rings is an awesome book, but it's kind of anti-technology.
Building a
still great
elevator is different.
And
a space elevator too. I think
like the Foundation series from Asimov is like a really like one of the best ever. You know, the books, you know, Arthur C. Clarke and Heinlein, you know, those are like sort of probably the three best sci-fi authors. And recently somebody was recommending to me the Ian Banks novels as being, you know, fairly good.
PayPal.
Prove me wrong, and that'd be great. Rockets and Dragon spacecraft. I'm like, okay, if they want to buy a bunch of Dragons and Falcon 9 rockets, that's cool. We'll certainly sell them. I always think of like Charlie and the Chocolate Factory when I hear the space elevator, you know. But because people sort of manage like an elevator, you press up.
The elevator operator?
You just like, now you're in space. This is extremely complicated. Yeah, I'm not. I
or
don't
like
think it's
the elevator
really
is the first thing that gets
realistic
built,
to
right?
have a space elevator.
Everything gets,
you know, and I mean, Let me put it this way,
Oh, really?
at the
Like
point
there's actually still construction elevator operators? Is that what I'm hearing? I didn't know that. I thought they would just, yeah.
which we have like a bridge from LA to Tokyo, which I think is a much easier problem. then we, or, you know, how about across the Atlantic? You know, like some sort of 2,000 mile long bridge, 3,000 mile long bridge, you know, something like that would be, you know, made of like carbon nanotubes. Like I don't think we've got a carbon nanotube footbridge so far, let alone some enormous 60,000 mile long space elevator. SpaceX, that's going to be how it is. That's over 20 years.
The only publicly traded stuff I own is Tesla. To watch out for crypto taking, especially Bitcoin, using proof of work to maybe use energy that's maybe a bit too much and not necessarily good for the environment.
Today. I mean, with artificial intelligence, we are summoning the demon. Yeah. You've got to take big chances in order for the potential for a big positive outcome. Elon Musk. Elon Musk. Elon Musk.
Don't be boring. Emperor or God Emperor? I don't know.
Ball of liquid oxygen. They say SpaceX has big balls, and it's true.
I don't really have a business plan.
I'm not sure I would. I'm not sure I want to be.
I'm looking for a new video game to play. Can you give me a recommendation?
Overwatch.
I play Overwatch.
Yeah, it's
Anything
great.
else?
Overwatch
is amazing.
Overwatch is amazing. Yeah, generally Blizzard does great stuff. Well, there's Hearthstone.
I haven't tried that one yet.
Yeah.
I know people love it.
That's what my kids play the most, is Hearthstone.
All right.
Also from
I'm
Blizzard.
washing dishes. I'll check that out tonight.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you very much for the time. I know you
All
gotta
right.
get going.
Cool.
We
Did
get
you
a
play
space
any
elevator
Blizzard?
wrapped around the
Overwatch?
Earth. You know when it crashes?
We tried the new
How many
Deus Ex?
megatons of TNT?
I have tried the new Deus Ex.
It's okay, but like
the best game I played recently, and it's not a
Right?
super new game, is
Oh,
The
what's up,
Last of
Chris?
Us.
Oh, is it
It's
really?
from a couple of years ago.
Sure.
I loved it.
Okay.
I'm looking for a new video game to play. Can you...
Anyways.
Jeff who?
I think Mars should really have great bars. I think Mars should really have great bar. The Mars bar. I think Mars should really have great bar. I think Mars should really have great bars. The Mars bar. I think it's way crazier than that.
The Mars bar.
Nothing to fear. Overwatch. Questions in physics and philosophy is where are the aliens? Maybe they're among us. I don't know. Some people think I'm an alien. Space. The deepest mines are much deeper than the tallest buildings are tall.
Yeah, not sure how that would work with
The future spaceships will be.
Welcome.
The Earth
Yeah,
is a
welcome,
sphere,
welcome.
but just in the third dimension. And when flat earthers, they're just like two-dimensional minds. That's it. Flat earthers' brains are flat, so they can't perceive anything except a flat Earth. Flat earthers' brains are flat. They're 2D. Nothing more true has ever been said. Oh, I'm actually I just tweeted that. Could be possible if this is just a simulation like the Matrix. That would quantum physics and energy, bro. Earth flat, cause quantum physics and energy, bro. Cause quantum physics and energy. Just taking the absolute piss out of somebody. They'd be like, what? What? The earth is totally flat, man. You're blowing my mind. It can't be a sphere.
Maybe good times for the Martians.
We don't have electric cars. It's not for lack of styling.
Get that Martian
We're
bomb,
trying to confuse
baby.
the aliens as much as possible. Well, Kanye West, obviously.
Yeah, welcome.
Maybe good times for the
Yeah,
Martians.
honestly,
Like if you had like crack cocaine on Mars.
So like, what's recent Elon Musk recent video? He's obviously got yeah, I mean, what happened with that? Is he actually gonna step down now? Oh no, the man slept. That'd be a hard one to be like, hey, I voted. I thought people were gonna say, yeah, stay on as Twitter's head. And they said, nah, you should go. And then he'd be like, whoa, I run Twitter. I say no. Yeah. A pole? He just turned into a pole stripper. A strip poler. Or... Elon Musk recent video. I don't think we're gonna find video, like, maybe. Oh, that's... Is this a video of him? They're freaking ads in front here. Get out of here. Let's take a look at that. Let's see if he said anything on that. Hmm. 17 million said yes. Then a poll within a poll, 1.3 million saying no. Greg's hilarious. All right. Anyways, so we need some sound from our boy Elon Musk. We need some sound from the dude with the Twitter and the rocket shop and the Neuralink. Neuralink? I don't know. How do we... So let's just go straight to YouTube and then search Elon Musk interview. There, this was a month ago. I remember watching this, so if there's
No guy.
oh, there's no.
She has a diehard following.
So there could be either some natural.
Go first.
Yeah.
Check the Nelk video. We did it. So we're shout out to.
Check out these.
What's that?
And his phone number too.
But you hit him over email.
Yeah.
So when did you first hit him on email? How long ago?
I hit him
for the pod.
It was more of like a rapper.
Not everything was fucking
Bro. Fremont factory. That's still.
Yeah.
Where you? That's like the term that we.
Which is just.
I go.
This one might be easier because it's only an hour.
And I'll tell you something. Every time I see that clip, it chills me. Every single time. And I look at it a lot. So thank you very much for coming.
But just you, I mean, look great.
That's sort of my first question. Is that, so you're 51?
Yeah. And no spring. I think I'm safely not a spring chicken anymore. Late summer chicken?
I'm 79.
But you, I mean, you look great.
Oh, wait.
Chicken? No spring. I think I'm safely not a spring chicken anymore.
Spring chicken.
So thank you very much for coming here. I know it's not convenient, it's not around the corner.
Oh man, this
I really appreciate it.
this is gonna be tough if I'm like, okay, I'm gonna go through what, like 2 to 3 hours of Elon Musk footage to grab clips. I'm like, wait, how much am I trying to put into this? But I'm like, I have a vision and I know I want it to be pulled off the best possible, because now I'm like, wait, this one's gonna be really good. This one will be funny. So I'm like, well, you know, if I could make this one this week, that would be really cool. But is he gonna make it a Thursday if I'm gonna do like 2 hours worth of skimming? If I can get the audio done today, but that's not gonna happen if I'm doing like audio skimming. Wish I could transcribe it and just like pull bits out. Just like use AI to pull the voice so that I could like use clips of the voice just by searching for the words. Oh man, that would be so dope. That would save me hours here. I'm like, alright.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me. I was on a red-eye flight, so I'm a little slower than normal. Just I didn't get much sleep, so.
You know, that's sort of my first question. Is that, so you're 51?
Yeah. No spring. I think I'm safely not a spring chicken anymore. Late summer chicken?
I'm 79.
But you, I mean, you look great.
So you're 51, and you do 16-hour days, and you work 7 hours a week, and you fly all over the place, and you go to these meetings constantly, and people constantly criticize you for everything. It's amazing to me. I mean, you're changing the world, you're giving yourself. Why do you do this? So my wife says to me, why are you still working? Why are you still working? What are you doing here?
Well, I think what I'm working on has an important effect on the future. You know, in the case of Tesla, I think it's fair to say that Tesla has significantly accelerated the
advent of sustainable energy. You know, before
I'm gonna get one of those spring chicken burgers. Like, how am I gonna get him to say that? Like, text to speech sound like Elon Musk.
What's going on, everybody, and welcome to a video on the following paper, which, take note, was written in late.
Like, that's probably around the
So,
corner.
there's
Just
something
pick
there. You
Elon
can tell-
Musk's voice and like, oh, but then that gets kind of creepy. Like, so I'm like, there's no way around it. If I want a good selection of words, I'm gonna have to let's go through this and chop it up. But I'm like, well, can I just pretend to be Elon Musk and get a kind of a voice that sounds similar to him?
Tesla, no one
Doesn't
was
quite
doing
do it.
electric cars, and now, as a result of Tesla, I think almost every major car company in the world is building electric cars, and I think that's a pretty big deal. But there's still a long way to go to transition the world to a sustainable energy economy, and so we still have a lot of work ahead of us at Tesla, but that's our goal there. And then for SpaceX, I think it's important for the future to be exciting and for humanity's existence to be ensured over the long term. I think we must become a multi-planet species and a spacefaring civilization. You know, I think we're here like 4.5 billion years after Earth got started. 13.8 billion years into the age of the universe. And it's only now, recently, in the last 5,000 years, that we invented writing. I would say date the first civilization by when there was the first writing, which was in ancient Sumeria around 5,000 or 6,000 years ago.
But okay, like just being, let me put on my tinfoil hat for a second. I was like, is he really perpetuating this like young history solution, which I think is getting more and more like proven to be false, that there was actually high society including writing? So, but anyways, I mean, the facts are that we don't really know too much, except that there was probably some society before 10,000, 13,000 years ago that was pretty smart and did pretty incredible things. But were they around for much longer, I guess is really the question. Does it matter? Because if he's saying 5,000 or like 100,000 even, it doesn't really make a difference to the end goal of like what he's saying.
So we've basically just been here for a very brief instant. We're
A blink.
All of human civilization is a blink of an eye, if there was an eye, on an evolutionary time scale. So I think it's important we take the actions to ensure that the light of consciousness continues, and because we should really view consciousness as a small candle in a vast darkness. So it can easily go out.
So you have these missions, and somehow, whenever you have the mission and you have this vision, and you are a visionary, that somehow, whatever you do, you develop other businesses. So when you started SpaceX, you didn't think about satellites. When you started Tesla, you didn't think about robots. When you don't have enough people, you didn't think about robots. So you didn't think about autonomous driving. And without Elon, there would not be electric cars. Nobody who makes cars wants to make electric cars. They're being forced to make them. In fact, every time they sell an electric car, they sell one fewer car that they make money on. And they have all that money invested in plants to make those other cars. So nobody wants to have these cars except for him. And everybody thought it was going to fail. And one of the things you said is that patents are for the weak. And you share your patents. And with other companies, of course, on the other hand, when they get your patents, you're 2 or 3 years ahead of them.
Well, I mean, joking about patents for the week, I think there is a role for patents. Let's say some of these some companies spend a lot of money developing particular medicine, have to go through the expense of stage 3 medical trials, and then they finally get something that is approved, but where the drug itself is cheap to manufacture, then I think a patent in that case makes sense. Otherwise, no one would go to the trouble of doing stage 3 medical trials.
So there are definitely roles for patents. In the case of Tesla, our goal is to advance sustainable energy, and so and we can't just do it by ourselves. We need the whole industry to go that way. So we gave them our patents for free in order to help them accelerate electric vehicles.
So it must be terrifying to other companies to realize that when we make cars, it's $39,000 in cost of car, and we're making $15,000, $16,000 in profit a car. And so we invest $7 billion, and we make $15 billion a year. I'm sorry, yeah, and 15, a million cars, 15,000, 15 a million a year on a $7 million investment. Shocking. So no one else does that. And when and here you're telling us how you want to make cars for $20,000 a piece. How do you do that?
Well, we've not formally announced our next car program, so I can't talk too much about our upcoming vehicle program or programs that have not been announced, but we do expect to make cars that are more affordable than the current Model 3 or Model Y. So, and a big factor in this is, yeah. But I think by far the biggest factor is autonomy in terms of the value of a car, because right now cars get driven for about 10 or 12 hours a week, like maybe 1.5 hours a day, and but there's 168 hours in a week, and so if they were autonomous, the cars could drive for 50 or 60 hours, so we'd see a 5-fold increase in the utility of the car, that could be autonomy. This is a really, really gigantic thing. It would also mean that we wouldn't need anywhere near as many parking lots, and this would also be helpful for the environment because you would need far fewer cars.
So I misspoke. It was a $7 billion.
I mean, if that worked, that would be
cars a year that makes $15 billion a year in profits.
like, imagine you could just like drive your car to work, and then during the day it could like do deliveries for people, and you could like make money with your car while you're not there. That would be crazy. That'd be so cool. And that's the thing, is it would actually be better for the world as a whole. There'd be way less cars on the road.
Another automobile company wanted me to introduce her to you, and you did that once at a meeting, and now she wants to come visit with her director of engineering at our plant in Austin. And
I don't know if I'm gonna. This is now a commentary on Elon Musk interview.
What else is there? When you're casting, what else is there?
Really, like, when are you gonna talk about burgers? Come on.
Parts, are we eliminating functions? What are we doing?
Let me see if I can actually search Elon Musk talks about burgers. Maybe I'm doing this wrong. Elon Musk talks about burgers.
Do you believe in God?
Elon Musk's personal views on God and religion are as astounding as they are controversial. Actor Rain asked the outspoken billionaire whether he had a spiritual life when he interviewed him. In his response, Musk ended up addressing the big question of whether God exists. Check it out.
Do you have a spiritual life?
Well, it sort of depends on what spiritual means. And there's certainly things that we don't understand about the universe. But I'm less convinced that there's, say, some super consciousness watching over our every movement and kind of evaluating it against some criteria and deciding whether we're going to go to one place or another when we die. I think that's unlikely.
Right.
Rain continued to interview Musk on what he worships. From Elon Musk's response, it was clear that he was an agnostic, but not an atheist, as most people would think. As an agnostic, Musk neither believes nor disbelieves in God, since the existence of God cannot be proved. The physics guru only believes in facts and science. Listen to Musk's response in matters of worship.
What do you worship?
Well, I don't really worship anything, but I do devote myself to the advancement of humanity using technology. And it does beg the question, if there is some superconsciousness, where did the superconsciousness come from? So I think the most likely explanation is that complexity evolved from simplicity. That the simple elements over time combined to become more complex and arrived at what we are.
The tech genius made it clear in the interview that science and religion cannot coexist. The former economics student from University of Pennsylvania was probably borrowing from Karl Marx, a German economist who said that religion is the opium of the masses. The deeply religious Rain was shocked to learn that Musk doesn't pray. Have a look.
Can science and religion coexist?
Probably not.
Do you pray?
Yeah,
I don't. I didn't even pray when I almost died of malaria.
Wow, that's really not praying.
Right.
That's really not
You put your
praying.
money where your bug spray was.
Yeah.
Blow my mind. You deal with so much stuff. I mean, you deal with space travel and energy and the source of consciousness, and you're thinking about all of these giant life's big questions. What blows your mind? What gives you awe?
Well, I think that, I mean, the nature of the universe gives me awe, and just the huge expanse of the universe, and how far away things are and how big they are. And the fact that there are things like supermassive black holes that are equal to 1 billion suns.
What about dark matter? Doesn't that freak you out too?
Yeah, and dark matter is also, I mean, dark matter, dark energy are kind of interesting, because I'm not sure what those actually are. You know, obviously people don't know what those actually are, and particularly dark energy. In fact, you know, that may be an argument for this being a simulation, because in a simulation, you could just make things be however you want. The laws don't all have to be consistent.
Don't be deceived into believing that Musk is ignorant about religion. As a child, the boy Elon Musk attended an Anglican Sunday school and learned at a Jewish preschool. He probably knows more about the Bible and Christianity than most folks, as seen in the following interview. Follow through.
Okay, how many people have actually read the Bible?
Fewer than probably say they have, but...
Oh yeah, I mean...
Do you have
I mean, at one point, I you know, when I was a kid, I had this existential crisis, and I was trying to figure out what's the meaning of life. And I was like, oh, it all means nothing. It's all, and I you know, read like a whole bunch of religious books, including the Bible, and I'm like, there's a bunch of things in there they didn't teach you in Sunday school. Sodom and Gomorrah, dark. Yikes. Yeah, God sure changes his mind from the Old Testament to the New Testament. I'm like, whoa, that's pretty vengeful in the Old Testament. Maybe we can have a chapter past Revelations. But is there a happy ending here?
Revelations Part 2.
Revelations Part 2, the happy ending.
In the same interview, Musk was challenged as to whether he would accept Jesus as his personal savior. After evading the question for some time, Musk responded by saying that he would not mind being saved if Jesus has the powers to save. It would be quite a spectacle seeing Musk being baptized.
We're wondering if you could do us a quick solid and accept Jesus as your Lord and Savior. Personal Lord and Savior. It's a quick prayer.
But hey, if you know, if Jesus is saving people, I mean, I wouldn't stand in his way. You know, like, I'll be sure, I'll be saved. Why not?
Sweet, we did it.
In the interview, Musk revealed that he accepted some of Jesus' teachings on love and forgiveness. However, the genius was quick to criticize how Jesus chose wine over water in a wedding. The interviewers were amazed at Elon's criticism on various biblical accounts. Have a look.
I mean, let's just say, like, I agree with the principles that Jesus advocated. You know, there's great wisdom in the teachings of Jesus, and I agree with those teachings. And things like turn the other cheek are very important, because as opposed to an eye for an eye leaves everyone blind. So forgiveness, you know, is important, and treating people as you would wish to be treated. Love thy neighbor as thyself. Very important. And like, Jesus was obviously very pro-alcohol, you know, because one of his miracles was turning water into wine. Yeah. And that was like, they were having a party, they ran out of wine, okay? And they're like, let's keep this banter going. Good stuff. Who can solve this problem? We're out of White Claws. Friggin' store's closed. And Jesus is like, I gotcha. Okay, water, now wine. And like, party on, you know? So, you know, accurate. Pro-partying with alcohol is literally one of the miracles.
It is interesting how the SpaceX CEO understands rocket science but does not understand the origin of life. The genius explained to Dr. Crystal Dilworth of the efforts that he has made to help understand the existential crisis during the late-night chat at Canadian Consul's residence in Los Angeles. Here's what Elon had to say.
I had this like existential crisis when I was a kid, and tried to figure out what's it all about, and none of the books I read seemed to actually have a good answer. You know, so I read all the religious texts, and I read a bunch of philosophy books, and they're all quite depressing. Actually, when I read The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, I thought, okay, this is a pretty good one. You know, just to sort of try to gain greater enlightenment over time. That seems like a good goal. Because we don't really know what the meaning of life is, or even really what the right questions are to ask. But if we can improve our understanding of the universe, then eventually we can figure out what the right question to ask is. If it's not meaning of life, it's something.
It really doesn't matter whether Elon Musk is a Jew, Christian, Muslim, or irreligious. The thing that matters is that Elon Musk is a good human who is focused on saving humans by making us a multiplanetary species. Elon cares so much for humanity that he would want them to continue living on Mars in case the Earth is destroyed. You may not agree with Musk on religion.
All right. So that was interesting, but all I've got out of all of that was spring chicken. I'm like, dang it. This is actually a lot harder than any one of the other ones. What's this? Video no longer available. Tell me what country I'm in.
Go to our boy Shervin. I'm like, I don't know what to do. People just rolled up, way too many people, and he's like, just go be honest with Elon. So I went and let Elon know. I was like, yo, bro, sorry, like Beaver about like a lot of people. There's already hit. Your family was on the plane too.
Yeah.
And Elon goes, don't worry, I got this handled. And him and his brother Kimball, they made like one quick phone call, and like 20 minutes later, another jet just rolled in. They're like, yeah, we got a second plane here. And then we flew to Vegas.
How does that work, Elon? Do you just have like jets like on demand like that?
No, that was my brother's plane.
Your brother's plane?
Yeah.
That's dope.
What was the link with Bieber?
No, our buddy Shervin.
But Bieber, you and
the Shervinator.
You wanted to hang out with Bieber?
Shervin, you know Shervin, of course. You know
Yeah,
Shervin.
I know Shervin well.
Yeah, actually, you know Shervin's daughter, Daria.
She's very beautiful.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, this is crazy to have you here, though. I mean, we have like one of our Metacard, our NFTs, and in the Discord, all they're saying all the time is just, please get Elon on, please get Elon
Okay.
on, please
What do
get
they want
Elon
me
on.
to say?
What's that?
What are they curious about?
A lot.
Probably everything.
A lot. Space, cars, crypto. Really,
Space, cars, and crypto.
Yeah, I think those
Neuralink.
are Neuralink. Yeah.
Okay.
Are you in Texas like full time now? Because you used to be in Cali, right?
Yeah, I used to live in California, but mostly live in Texas these days. Tesla, we built this giant factory called the Giga Texas, which is the biggest factory in North America, just outside Austin. So I'm working on just bringing up that factory, which is just increasing the production. It's like a factory is a giant cybernetic collective. So you're gonna make the cybernetic collective work with thousands of people, machines. Just a lot of like 10,000 little things to fix, basically. The team's doing great though. So we're spooling up the Giga Texas factory here in Austin, and they're building a giant rocket in South Texas near Brownsville.
Appearance.
As a kid, I used to be like scared. You need a propellant plant to like where people did have a ton of kids. I gotta do it. So I'm gonna switch from just immediately looking at my phone first thing in the morning as soon as I wake up to I don't know, just working out for at least 20 minutes and then looking at my phone.
Have you ever tried pre-workout?
Like what's a pre-workout?
It's like a powder. It's got caffeine in it. And like,
Okay.
It's usually used
Sometimes
for leg days.
when I'm lazy,
Leg days.
It's just for leg days. Yeah.
Okay.
you should just you got to get pre-workout.
Get
and
the quads going.
You leave it on your bedside. Leave it on your bedside counter.
Okay.
And right when you wake up, just take a scoop.
Okay.
And then you'll be like so jittery that you can't go to bed. So you'll have no choice
Starting
to go to the gym.
Where's it available?
I feel like
Okay.
Well, we have ours too.
Do you
Full-time supplements.
drink caffeine every morning?
Supplements.co.
I have coffee.
Yeah, you want to
coach?
switch to this one.
Okay.
Promo code
If you're trying to work out.
I'll try it out. So, all right.
No, but the bedside pre is a key because you're
Yeah.
so like you can't do anything but go to the gym. You can't sit still. You're
Yeah.
just gonna go in
It's
there.
like a little energy drink.
Okay.
The one we have one, and ours is all natural too.
All right, boys. Sorry to interrupt this pod. I know this is crazy. Fucking Elon, it's fire. But
I grew up in South Africa. It's a very violent place. So,
You think that's what motivated you to become what you are?
I mean, it maybe played a role. Certainly toughen you up, that's for sure. I mean, the people say like, you know, they're all worried about words and stuff. People who are worried about words have never been punched in the face, I'd say. If you've been punched in the face real hard, right on the nose, man, you'll
Call me
take
whatever you
any
want.
words rather than that, you know.
Were you more quiet like back then, 6 to 16?
Yeah, I mean, I was bookish, you know. So I was like reading a lot of books and just kind of a nerd, basically. I worked with computers and books and stuff. So, and I didn't get big until I was like a late bloomer from a size standpoint. So I was like small, relatively speaking. I was like the youngest kid in the grade. I was like almost the smallest kid in the grade. So being small and having violent bullies is a bad situation, you know.
I went through that too.
Yeah. And once I got to
Steiny didn't bloom at all. He's 20.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Never bloomed, but it's okay.
He's not getting up. He's not getting taller any sooner.
It's all right.
I mean, but I only sort of, you know, got to like a reasonably good size around age 15, and then around age 16.
Say napkins and burgers. Okay. I think we're just gonna have to use what we have from these two soundboards, and just go with it. And spring chicken. Oh, it would be too long to like go through a 3-hour thing here and try to catalog his words and be like, chop up exactly the words. Like, I don't know. Oh man, I want to, but it would take too long. It would probably take like 4 hours. But I need to be done in 1 hour and 20 minutes. Sound, anyways. That's not gonna happen. There's no way it's gonna happen. Let's see here.
$150 per car. Bitcoin by a meal.
Definitely this one.
Easy.
Easy.
Um, $150 per car. I do own Bitcoin, and Tesla owns Bitcoin, SpaceX owns Bitcoin. I do own Bitcoin. I do own Bitcoin, and Tesla owns Bitcoin. SpaceX owns Bitcoin.
I mean, I don't think it's realistic.
Well, I don't think we have to worry about autonomous cars because that's sort of like I think it's going to just become normal.
In the next few years. It's way more complex than, I mean, it would put Hell 9000 to shame. Yeah. I was like a puppy dog. Prove me wrong, and that'll be great. Rockets and Dragon spacecraft. I always think of like Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. That's going to be how it is. That's over 20 years.
The only publicly traded stock I own is Tesla. To watch out for crypto taking, especially Bitcoin, using proof of work to maybe use energy that's maybe a bit too much and not necessarily good for the environment.
Today. I mean, with artificial intelligence, we are summoning the demon.
Yeah.
You've got to take big chances in order for the potential for a big positive outcome.
Now, his 44 political reporting deal in share.
To do that. So how would we sell a car that's so cheap?
I mean, I think the full explanation, or at least an accurate explanation, would take a long time, because its first approximation of cars made of 10,000 unique parts and process steps. I mean, Tesla's really, I think at this point, probably the best at manufacturing in the auto industry, which I think nobody was expecting.
Probably the history of the world.
Probably. Yeah, so, well, I've got this like first principles algorithm that I find to be very helpful in the design and manufacturing of anything. And people here may find it helpful. The first thing you should do.
Wait a second.
Of anything. The first principles algorithm that I find to be very helpful in the. That I find to be very helpful. Well, I've got this like first principles algorithm that I find to be very helpful. In the design and manufacturing of anything, and people here may find it helpful. The first thing you should do is make the requirements that you've been given less dumb.
Now we're getting to some juice.
Whatever constraints and requirements were given, they were to some degree dumb, and you want to make them less dumb. If you don't start with this, then you answer you get the right answer to the wrong question. And the requirements must be given from a person who can explain the requirement, not from a department, because then you don't know who to talk to. Then step 2 is delete the part or delete the process step. This sounds extremely obvious, and yet over and over again we have found that parts were not needed. They were just put in there. 2 is delete the part or delete the process step. Who to talk to? Person who can explain the requirement, not from a department, because then you don't know who to talk to. Then step 2 is delete the part or delete the process step. This sounds extremely obvious, and yet over and over again we have found that parts were not needed. They were just put in there just in case, or by mistake, or there was a step that someone thought was needed but was not actually needed. This sounds insanely obvious, but we've deleted so many parts from the car that did nothing.
They were just there?
Well, yeah, I mean, I can give you so many examples. One example was there were 3 fiberglass mats on top of the battery pack. They partially covered the battery pack, and I was on the battery pack production line, and it was the number one thing choking battery pack production. We're gluing on these 3 fiberglass mats to the top of the battery pack, and so this is the reason I repeat myself is that I first did things backwards. First, I try to automate it. Then I try to accelerate it, just have this go faster. Then I try to simplify it, and only then did I delete it. Because it turned out that the team at Tesla that does noise and vibration minimization, so making the car quiet, thought that the fiberglass mats were there because of the battery safety team, which was battery fire prevention. And then I asked the battery fire prevention team what were they needed for, and they said, oh, noise and vibration. And I'm like, okay. So then we had 2 cars drive, one with a microphone in each car, and you could not tell the difference. So we went to all that trouble for a part that should not exist. And then another example was there was again, these were choke points in the entire production system. That's why I'm running around the production line trying to fix the production line, just like a maniac, sort of Tasmanian devil, just running around the factory like a lunatic. Let's see, we had the body production line in Model 3 was at one point stuck because we had a laser welding cell to weld a small cross-car beam in the passenger footwell of the front seats. And I'm looking at this beam, and I'm like, what the heck does that do? Because the entire factory stopped trying to get this laser weld cell to work. And I'm like, I can't imagine what useful thing it could do. And then the weld cell to work. What the heck does that do? Because the entire factory stopped. Trying to get this laser weld cell to work. And I'm like, I can't imagine what useful thing it could do. And then the production team said, oh, that's for crash safety. So then I called the crash safety team and said, is this for crash safety? He said, oh, no, that didn't do anything. We should delete it. That turned out to be totally useless. They forgot to tell the production team. Honestly, a bunch of these things just feel like you're living in a Dilbert cartoon. Oh no, what's that? I mean, any given company, they should have what's your Dilbert ratio? Okay, it's not 0.
So is this you or is this your
Dilbert quotient? Try to keep it low.
So is this you or is this? So you do all these different things.
But it's literally me.
So do you have,
this is not someone else who did this. I was living in the factory in Fremont and the one in Nevada for 3 years straight. That was my primary residence. I'm not kidding, literally.
Did you keep the couch?
I actually slept in a couch at one point in a tent on the roof. And then, but for a while there, I was just sleeping under my desk, which is out in the open in the factory, and for an important reason. And it was damn uncomfortable sleeping on that floor. And always, when I woke up, I'd smell like metal dust.
We went to visit, and they bought him a new couch.
Yeah, but actually, I stopped using the couch in the little conference room, the couch there. I stopped using the couch. I just slept on the floor under my desk. So during shift change, the entire team could see me. And that's important because, when the team, if they think that their leader is off somewhere having a good time, drinking Mai Tais on a tropical island, which I could definitely have been doing and would much have preferred to do. I'm not actually a masochist, I think. But the thing is that since the team could see me sleeping on the floor during shift change, with nothing, they knew I was there, and that made a huge difference. And then they gave it their all.
So the focus is on always lowering cost and providing leadership. And this company, we're doing 1.5 million cars a year, but you expect to do 20. And so what happens in 10 years if you're not there? What happens in 5 years if you're not there? How does that work? I mean, there are all these people, so at all the engineering schools, the top engineering schools, the top choice of where everybody wants to work is Tesla or SpaceX, those two places. So do we have all these people coming up and fighting each other for the job, or they're working together? How do you get people to say, gee, I could buy that real expensive house, but I'm not going to do that. Boy, I could go on vacation, I'm not going to.
Well, we do have that problem a little bit. So, as a company has prosperity, and then people become wealthy, then for a lot of people, that once they become sort of independently wealthy, they just can't bring themselves to work, or they don't want to work, and that's totally understandable. No judgment. And so I have a lot of friends who are extremely talented, and they had some success earlier in life, and they just decided that was enough for them. One of my good friend of mine saying for starting a company is like eating glass and staring into the abyss. So when people tell me like, well, what can you do to encourage entrepreneurs to start companies? I'm like, if you need encouragement, don't start a company.
In SpaceX, and so we have competitors, sort of, I guess. So SLS, and I read about that's not just Boeing, Northrop, and Lockheed. And with those guys, when they build a launching pad, it took them like 10 years and billions of dollars. And we had to build a launching pad, and it cost a few $100 million, and we did it in 6 months. And then I was interested in how that was done. And the woman I'm talking to says that, Ron, did you see the plumbing when you went there? I said, why should it cost $100 million? It looks like it's a landing field. I said, did you see what's underneath? Did you see the plumbing? I said, no, they didn't show it to me. And she said, well, you should be aware that there's all these pipes that take away the heat, and then they all deliver fuel to the rocket, and it has to be there in the exact right amount at the exact right time. And if it's not, that doesn't happen, it blows up. And so I said, well, how does Elon know this? And because you hire these great people, and then you ask them all these questions, and then somehow you remember everything they tell you. Is that true?
Well, my memory for technical matters is very good. But I think probably a lot of people don't realize, like, what I do 80% of the time is engineering. So, it's actually quite rare for me to give a talk. And my day-to-day work at SpaceX and Tesla is almost entirely engineering and design. So, and also production. Production is key, but although I consider that to be part of engineering. But Starship is something special. The thing that is like the holy grail, like the critical breakthrough needed to make life multiplanetary and for humanity to be a spacefaring civilization is a fully and rapidly reusable orbital rocket. And so we've gone most of the way there with Falcon 9. You may have seen the rocket booster come back and land, and we also recovered the nose cone or fairing, but we do not recover the upper stage. So we've gone to the point where we're about 70 to 80% reusable with Falcon 9. With Starship, we're going for 100% reusable. It's difficult to say how profound a change this will be, but a fully and rapidly reusable orbital rocket has the potential to drop the cost of access to space by a factor of 1,000.
Factor of 1,000.
1,000. And I should say also, Starship it's a very, very big rocket. It's more than twice the thrust of a Saturn V, and about twice the mass. And it's also, the entire ship is designed to land propulsively. So it can land to land on its engines, to land propulsively. So it can land on any solid surface in the solar system. So if we can make Starship work, then it enables us to, over time, get anywhere in the solar system.
So why is it so hard? Why don't other people do the same thing? So everyone says it's impossible.
Why is it so hard?
And how much harder is it to do what we're trying to do than we're doing with Falcon?
Well, so let's see. Earth's gravity is actually quite strong, and we have a thick atmosphere. So with known physics, it is only barely possible to make a fully reusable orbital rocket. Only barely possible. If this was a video game, the setting is just extreme difficulty. Not impossible, but extreme difficulty. Because it's not like those who have developed rockets before weren't aware of reusability. They were fully aware of reusability, that aircraft and cars are reusable. It's just that in order for a rocket to be reusable, everything has to be perfect. So you have to have exceptionally efficient engines. You have to have an exceptionally efficient structure. You need advanced avionics and software. You need a very lightweight heat shield for orbital reentry. And then another key factor for traveling to Mars is you need orbital refilling, so that you get the ship to orbit, and then you send up tankers to refill the ship in orbit, just like is done by the Air Force with aerial refueling. Those are the things that are necessary, and it's never been achieved before. There have been many attempts to achieve it, and they've all been, basically, they've all failed, and they usually cancel the program partway through once they thought it was no longer possible.
So
it's a very difficult engineering challenge.
So SLS is supposed to get to the moon. They got a contract in 2010, and it was supposed to be for $10 billion, but it was cost plus. It's now up to $40 billion, and they say it's going to be $100 billion or $90 billion. Yeah, and we haven't gotten anything. And our rocket is 10 meters taller than theirs, and we can reuse ours. So how can anyone possibly compete if they're not doing what we're doing? How can they compete? I don't understand. And how can they get contracts? And then I just saw something from NASA, and they said that we're spending $20 billion a year, and oh, by the way, that's 360,000 jobs in all these congressional districts.
Well, I think I have to be careful what I say here. I have enough enemies. I would like to have, yes, I would like to have a smaller number of companies that want me to die. That would be great. So, but like, a big part of this is like, what's the goal? In the case of Starship, the goal is to lower the cost of access to orbit and ultimately to Mars and the Moon and elsewhere to the point where humanity can actually afford to become a multi-planet species, to the point where we can afford to have a permanent base on the Moon and ultimately far exceed the high watermark of Apollo, which was incredible and I think inspiring to all of humanity, everyone. If you were to ask people, I think almost in any country, non-Americans, anyone, what was humanity's greatest achievement in the 20th century? Maybe ever. So go to the Moon. And that's why they say moonshot as a metaphor, because that was incredible. Still amazing that was achieved. In fact, a lot of people ask me, was it real? I'm like, yeah, it was real.
Well, it's probably on Twitter. That's where they ask that.
Yeah. That was just an incredible achievement, and I think it's one of those things that, going to the Moon makes you proud to be a member of humanity. It's like for all mankind. It was for all mankind.
So it's an amazing achievement. And now we have this Webb telescope. It can, I guess the Big Bang was 14 billion years ago, and the first light is 13.5 billion years ago, and our planet's 4.5 billion. So what do we get out of this? What is the, so obviously Starlink, a really big deal, a $1 trillion opportunity, maybe more. And,
maybe.
Right? And so what do we get out of seeing back 13.5 billion years? What does that do for us? What technology do we develop? Don't we know? We don't know until we do it.
Yeah, I think, I think like there's two main motivations, I think, for becoming a multi-planet species and a spacefaring civilization, and then ultimately going beyond that to go to other star systems and explore the galaxy. And I think we may find that there's many one-planet civilizations that died out millions of years ago and never made it to the second planet.
Do you think in your lifetime that happens?
Well, it depends how long I live.
Maybe forever.
If I keep increasing that enemies list, it might not be much longer. It would be deeply ironic if it's someone angry on Twitter that takes me out.
Well, now you can keep them off Twitter.
Yeah, exactly. So anyway, I think there's two reasons for life to become multiplanetary, life as we know it to become multiplanetary. I think one is the defensive reason, where I think we want the light of consciousness to not be extinguished if something were to happen to Earth. And in the case of the dinosaurs, they only had to worry about meteors and supervolcanoes and other things. But for us humans, we actually have the power to destroy ourselves with nuclear weapons, or some sort of crazy bioterrorism thing. So so there's some danger that is not zero that could cause the end of life on Earth as we know it. So that's kind of the defensive reason to ensure that life is not just, and consciousness is not only on Earth. That's the defensive reason to protect the future of consciousness. Then the other big reason, I think, is that it's exciting, and it's adventurous, and it's inspiring. It makes you think positively about the future, And life can't just be about solving one problem or another. There need to be reasons to be inspired, reasons that move your heart and say, yes, the future's going to be great when you get up, when you wake up in the morning. I can't wait to see what happens next. And I think that's, humanity go to Mars, even if you don't yourself want to go to Mars, and most people don't, just watch it. It's a tough gig, frankly. This would not be a luxury expedition. But you'd be able to watch it happen, and I think it would just be incredibly inspiring to the world in the same way that the Apollo program was inspiring to the world. And like I said, life can't just be about solving one problem or another. We need things that make us excited and inspired about the future, and that would be one of them.
That's well said.
So let's go to Twitter just for a minute, and we'll go back to this stuff, which is more interesting.
Very well said.
I try to get out of the deal.
It's like we're trying to go to the next,
I remember that scene from The Godfather.
beyond,
Told me
right?
to ask tough questions.
Before, people would have been inspired to go and explore the known world, the known flat world, and be like, "Oh, we're gonna fall off the edge," and then they land on North America.
What's something called Twitter? And it says Musk puts off lifting Twitter bans. And so obviously the big deal, to me anyway, in Twitter is that we have this incredible. It was incredibly poorly managed, this business, and but those guys somehow did great for their shareholders by selling it to us. Right? But we didn't buy what they're selling. We bought something of what it's going to become.
Yes. I think it's most people would say, given how the market has evolved this year, the price is on the high side.
Right. Right. But that's on the basis of what it is.
Yes. But in terms of what I think there is a tremendous amount of potential that it will be very difficult to achieve, but I think possible. And I think ultimately it could be one of the most valuable companies in the world.
So when we think about this, in order for that to happen, so I met you, and it took me a few years, and then
most people would say, given how the market has evolved this year, the price is on the high side.
Right. Right. But that's on the basis of what it is.
Yes. But in terms of what I think there is a tremendous amount of potential.
Yeah, but what he's saying is that, like in the defensive consciousness. So it's like, you know, yeah, we could finish exploring the oceans and whatever. And don't get me wrong, that's super important. But the sooner we can get to established in a self-sustainable way on another planet, the more insurance we have in case something bad happens to this planet. You know, like if a meteor fucking smokes Earth and is killing almost everybody, then it's like having Mars, a Mars colony established that could come and reseed human civilization on Earth after everything gets, like, even if that was 1,000 years of it fucking being shitty, you know, charred Earth because of some huge explosion on it, like ruins the, you know, cataclysmic events from space or some shit, then it's like, yeah, we'd want to have an insurance policy that would be a colony on Mars or a colony on on the moon that could come back after, you know, 50 years or 100 years or whatever. And that's what he's getting at, right? It's like an insurance policy. That's why it's really interesting as an idea to potentially colonize Mars, because if we had 2 planets in the solar system that are habitable, then it just makes our chances of surviving the long term even better. But yeah, I mean, there's other things too, like fusion power, which is coming up. And if that actually becomes a reality, then there's going to be so much power, there's going to be so much electricity and energy. We'll have an energy abundance that we've just never had before. It'll be incredible if we actually get fusion. That could alone solve so many of our problems in the next like 50 years if we end up getting fusion in the next 5-10 years. So that's something else to look forward to, I think. And yeah, it's just really interesting to, as he said, as a good concept, just like what is inspirational? What is like inspirational? Aliens that are here won't let it happen. Yeah, but like, you know, I don't know. I mean, that's the thing. It's like, do I know aliens even exist? And if not, that's the thing, is that, yeah, there's defense measures too, but it is just a better insurance policy against the long term to be a multiplanetary, yeah. But there's also, yeah, being able to go up in space cheaply is, as he said, like a very hard problem to solve. And the benefits that we'll get out of that, just like fusion, are so massive, so huge that it's worth throwing our resources at this to try and figure it out. And don't get me wrong, I think we could be like solving...
It will be very difficult to achieve, but I think possible.
Well,
I think ultimately
fusion energy would solve world hunger, almost certainly. Like,
it would be one of the most valuable companies in the world.
So when we think about this, in order for that to happen, so I met you, and it took me a few years, and then I believe in you in your heart, right? Your heart. And so,
I think you were skeptical. At our first meeting, you were a bit skeptical.
And so the way I think about it is that, so I'm trusting you with the future of our country, of the world, actually, when you're in charge of a media like that. And so what I think about is, so how do you prevent, to being Jewish, how do you prevent this anti-Semitism? Or if I were black, how do you prevent all of the, so how do you prevent the use of the N-word? And when I think about TikTok, and they're able, we're just looking at pictures.
Don't use the N-word!
Move your right arm, other pictures you like. So that's what they do with their software, and they rate their algorithm. How can we not have an amazing algorithm? Because we know more about than we do with TikTok, and we ought to know what interests people have. And because of that, in words, we should be able to figure out words that people are using, what that means, and considering what content they're interested in, we should be able to figure out with software how to moderate this and prevent that from happening. Is that true or not?
Yeah, yes, absolutely. I totally agree. I want to be clear. Content moderation policies have not changed at Twitter, and it is not okay to engage in hateful conduct on Twitter. We have had actually oddly targeted attacks where temporarily people have been able to put some hate speech on Twitter, but then it's been taken down immediately. So now, part of what I'm trying to achieve with this sort of enabling everyone to be payment verified with Twitter Blue is to try to get as many people payment verified as possible. It's only $8 a month. Although for some people that were complaining about that, and these are people who pay more than that for their latte.
I'm going to be one of your Twitter Blue customers.
Thank you. But like, it's part of its revenue, part of it is payment authentication. And so if somebody, because there is a huge problem with spam and bots and trolls on Twitter, and organizations trying to manipulate public opinion, and just.
Okay, so. Oh man, this is actually going to be kind of a big deal, big project, bigger project than just your usual one, I guess. But I got another idea for a Leslie Moore episode as well, so I'm thinking, if we do this one and then a quick little 40-second more useless crap, kind of back to the old template there, the old style. Should be able to do one of those pretty quick and easy, I think, this weekend. So, I don't know. I'm in for it. I'm in for the long haul. I just want to see this one become awesome and become a piece of how I envision it. That being said, I'm going to give myself a couple minutes here. I will be right back. All right. Welcome back. It's your boy. We just chillin'. Been chillin'.
This is a video that's going viral on the internet as a meme right.
What's up, Chris? Yeah. Bin chillin'. Alright, anyways. Oh yeah, here we were.
Making the system worse. And I think that there is an answer to that, which is to get as many regular users of Twitter.
Maybe he's like, well, I don't really have a choice what Elon says. That's the...
As a subscriber for $8 a month, you get a lot more than just a blue check mark for $8 a month, because now we can afford long-form video, long audio, podcasts, and we can also start sharing revenue with content creators, which is essential.
Give them a chance to make money.
Yeah, absolutely. So, I mean, right now, if you're on Twitter, you'll see a lot of links posted to YouTube and TikTok, and that's because, at least until now, Twitter is not even giving them enough video length to post their video, and then they give the content creators no means monetizing video. So we're going to change that rapidly at Twitter. That's going to be transformative. But if we can get enough verified users, and we're going to prioritize Twitter search, reply, give the content creators than just a blue check mark for $8 a month, because now we can afford long-form video, long audio, podcasts, and we can also start sharing revenue with content creators, which is essential.
Give them a chance to make money.
Yeah, absolutely. Just, so, I mean, right now, if you're on Twitter, you'll see a lot of links posted to YouTube and TikTok. And that's because, at least until now, Twitter is not allowed to give them enough video length to post a video. And then they give the content creators no means of monetizing video. So we're going to change that rapidly at Twitter. It's going to be transformative. But if we can get enough verified users, and we're going to prioritize Twitter search, replies, mentions by verified users first. And yeah, this is
that's what called amplified?
Yes. So if you're payment verified with which then you'll be prioritized. And so the point of this is to make crime not to pay. Because right now to create a bot on Twitter costs less than a penny. So the cost of crime is so cheap, and that's part of why crime and hate conduct pays. But if somebody risks losing even $8, it's too expensive to now have 100,000 fake accounts. Because they have to spend $800,000 a month, as opposed to $800 a month. So, and then we also, since we're using payment authentication, we're piggybacking on the authentication system, the payment system, and we're also piggybacking off of Apple's authentication system, which is another layer of security. So the net effect will be over time that the verified users will pretty much always be at the top of comments and search, and you won't really see. You have to scroll far to see the unverified users, which will be the bots and trolls and whatnot. And this is sort of analogous to Google search. Like if you go to page 8 of Google search, there will be a ton of scams and stuff. Call it page 8, page 9, something like that. But the thing is that Google search results are so good for page 1 that you never go to page 8. So it's rare. And like the old joke is like,
that's something we don't want to see. It gets pushed way down.
Yeah, basically the bad stuff gets pushed way down. And then crime stops paying, and they stop trying to do all these things.
And we can recruit them as engineers to program for us, crime guys.
Yeah. So I mean, the joke is like, what's the best place to hide a dead body? Would be the second page of Google search results. It goes there.
So today we fired half of Twitter, and that should save us what, $4 billion a year.
No, it's not going to say $4 billion a year. I wish, but I mean, to be frank, Twitter was having pretty serious revenue challenges and cost challenges before the acquisition talks started. And any company that is dependent on advertising has had a hard time. So if you look at, say, Snap or Google, Facebook, whatnot, they've all had a difficult time with advertising revenue dropping. And Twitter is more currently more vulnerable than they are to advertising, because most of Twitter's advertising is large brand advertising as opposed to direct response. So it's kind of like a much more of a discretionary ad spend than it is for like if you can do direct response for a specific product. And then we also recently had a lot of difficulty with activist groups pressuring major advertisers to stop spending money on Twitter. This is despite us doing everything possible to appease them and to make it clear that moderation rules and hateful conduct rules have not changed, and we're continuing to enforce them. A number of major advertisers have stopped spending on Twitter. But this doesn't seem right, because we've made no change in our operations at all, and but nonetheless, the activist groups have been successful in causing a massive drop in Twitter advertising revenue, and we've done our absolute best to appease them, and nothing is working. So this is a major concern, and I think this is frankly an attack on the First Amendment. Like if activist groups can pressure advertisers upon which Twitter is fundamentally dependent to suppress free speech, then that doesn't seem right.
I meant, by the way, 400 million instead of 4 billion. I meant actually 400 million instead of 4 billion. Okay, so we're now there. You're living at this place. You go there for the next couple, 3 weeks. You get to vote, and then we have a team lined up. You think you have a team lined up here to manage it, and then you would just do it the same way we do with SpaceX and Tesla, where you just attend the meetings regularly, say this is what we need to do. Do it.
Well,
this is what we need.
Yeah, my workload went up from about 70 to 8 hours a week to probably 120. So yeah, I go to sleep, I wake up, I work, go to sleep, wake up, work. Do that 7 days a week. I'll have to do that for a while. So no choice. But I think once Twitter is set on the right path, I think it is a much easier thing to manage than SpaceX or Tesla. So, and I really understand the internet and how to make. So I wrote software personally for 20 years. I was one of the key people behind X.com, which became PayPal. And so I also I'm aware of I know how to make a way better PayPal.
Because you built PayPal.
Yeah, yeah, pretty much. I mean, with a lot of other people, but there's a product plan I wrote, which I wish I'd kept a copy of in July of 2000, where I thought it would be possible to make the most valuable financial institution in the world. And we're going to execute that plan from 22 years ago, which amazingly no one has done. And so I think that's part of why I think Twitter will be ultimately extremely valuable, because I'm going to execute the X.com game plan from 22 years ago with some improvements. And we're also going to obviously we're going to execute that plan from 22 years ago, which amazingly no one has done. And so I think that's part of why I think Twitter will be ultimately extremely valuable, because I'm going to execute the X.com game plan from 22 years ago with some improvement. I thought it would be possible to make the most valuable financial institution in the world, and we're going to execute that plan from 22 years ago, which amazingly no one has done. And so so I think that's part of why I think Twitter will be ultimately extremely valuable, because I'm going to execute the X.com.
Yeah, this is a super boring part of the process, bro. I get you. I'm bored doing this. That's why I was like, I don't want to do this. But once I get...
It stands to reason that
Okay, bro. I'm gonna get at least the like script done. I don't know. I'm gonna go till midnight-ish, and yeah, it's good to be back, but I'm easing into it. This might come out later in the week, but it's gonna be good when it's done. Thanks for sticking around, Chuck. As always, you have a good night. I'm gonna stick around, like I said, till for a little bit longer. For anybody else watching.
Who's going to stay on the platform? So like you want to be, it needs to be something where like our goal with Twitter is how do we
Yeah, bro. Yeah, I mean, thanks for stopping by, homie. No worries at all. Tomorrow is gonna be more fun though. This part is definitely boring.
And voice their opinion and exchange ideas, and maybe once in a while change their minds.
On occasion.
Yeah, I mean, once in a while.
So I read also that you said, and then we'll move off to Twitter, but you said that your goal is you want to make the 20% of people who are on the far right hate you, just like you want to make the 20% of people on the far left hate you. So
well, I don't want them to hate me, but I think the extremists, like, it's just very difficult to satisfy extremists. So unless you fully buy into whatever their dogma is. So, but I'm confident we can satisfy, like, I don't know, 80% of America, 80% of the world, but maybe not the 10% most extreme of either side. And I would count that as a great outcome. And I think it is important to have sort of a digital town square where people feel comfortable talking. And I also think it's like one of the things that's important is to be able to sort of decide what kind of experience you want to have on Twitter. Because some people might say, okay, like I want if this was a radio station, I want the easy listening, smooth jazz station. Okay, cool. But that's so you should be able to have that setting for Twitter. And then some people might say like, no, I want heavy metal thrash. And like, okay, so now this is going to be sort of then you don't mind someone saying mean things to you, within the context of the law, and you don't mind engaging in vigorous arguments on Twitter, that kind of thing. But you should be able to kind of like pick your preference and decide if you want sort of full contact battle or do you want like, no, I just want to look at puppies and flowers and nice landscapes and stuff.
So let's go off Twitter. Two other topics where you had some questions. The number one is logistics. So we're starting to make so many cars by the end of this year, 40,000 cars a week.
I mean, I have to be careful of MMPI, but I believe I have said in the past publicly that our aspiration is to reach 40,000 a week by the end of this year.
So if we're doing that, then that means that we're producing a car in 15 seconds.
Yeah.
And but that's still only 2 million cars a year. There's 100 million cars that are made a year. And so the question, so there's presumably capacity to be able to logistics to ship all these cars all over the place to have people pick them up where they want them. But not if they all do them in the same week.
Yes, totally. So, I mean, we have a bit of criticism from our Q3 results because we had a lot of cars in transit. And the reason was that we got too big for our cars to actually be transported in the final few weeks. We just weren't enough car carriers and weren't enough ships. So, but it's actually good. It's actually good in the long run to smooth out the deliveries and actually have cars in transit at the end of the quarter because then you're not rushing to get everything delivered by the end of the quarter and paying all these expedite fees. So
my question always is, if we have autonomous driving and we have autonomous trucks, is that one of the ideas that we're going to be able to move things around with not enough drivers, that we're going to have autonomous transport?
Yes.
That's question one.
We can also, yeah, I mean, if you're in the area, have the car just drive to you.
That's one. And the other one is about materials. And when all of a sudden, so we have somehow navigated supply chain problems from other people. And you might have thought that it was the absolute brilliance that we had to be able to do that. But probably the reason is that when you start off and you don't make any cars a year and you go to someone and say, we're going to make 20 million cars a year from zero, who's going to believe you and make all the equipment that we need? So as a result of that, you were forced initially to be able to say, okay, we're going to get, we'll vertically integrate. We can't rely on you. We'll do vertical integration. And
yeah.
Got it? Materials.
I can talk longer if you'd like.
Talk a little bit longer. Materials. So we have geology. Anyone want to show us a mine? We got people in mines to figure, who are knowledgeable, and they come to us and say, we can produce this much lithium, this much copper, this much. We are able to assess that and give contracts to be able to say contractual agreements. Okay, and they'll rely on our agreement. Other people, they won't. Is that fair? And Glencore,
well, the scaling constraints change as time goes by. In the beginning, we were just very vertically integrated because suppliers didn't take us seriously. Like we could get hardly any of the best suppliers wouldn't talk to us because the car startup has not been successful in the United States since Chrysler in the 20s, I believe they started. So it's been a century since a car company was successful in the US. That was not a foreign car company coming in that was already successful in the home market. So, but for an American car startup, Tesla's first success in 100 years. So you can imagine if you're a motor supplier, that doesn't sound like a smart financial decision.
Exactly.
So then we had to just build a lot of the stuff ourselves. We vertically integrated or we can create the car. And that ended up being an asset because now we understood so much about the entire supply chain and what it took to build a car. So we were able to design a more integrated vehicle that actually needed far fewer parts and costs less and weighs less and has higher performance. But it is looking increasingly like for some of the critical elements of batteries that Tesla will need to get into the mining business, mining and refining.
That's why Glencore was announced. That's why we're talking to Glencore. You were?
No, and we've never contemplated investing in Glencore. I'm talking about Tesla doing it.
Ourselves?
Yes.
Just some time for some questions from the audience. Just give me a couple. Turn the lights. Two questions.
Who's they?
I'll do it anyway.
Is it from me or you? I don't know.
Questions. So by the way,
The powers that
if you leave
be.
before we give away the
Crazy Karen woman.
2 Teslas, you're not eligible to get the Teslas. But go ahead. I gave an extra one once, I guess last time, but we're not going to do that again. You got to be in your seat in order to get the Teslas. I'm paying for it, not Elon. Questions?
Elon, Seneca once said, every genius has a touch of madness. I thought you'd like that quote.
Well, I agree with the madness part.
So even with Tesla as a publicly traded company, I think it's down 40% or something from its high, is selling at 70 times earnings. Meanwhile, Mercedes-Benz, which now produces EVs, is selling for 6 times earnings and yielding 5%. Why should I invest in Tesla rather than Mercedes-Benz? For 6 times earnings, is selling at 70 times earnings. Meanwhile, Mercedes-Benz, which now produces EVs, is selling for 6 times earnings and yielding 5%. Why should I invest in Tesla rather than Mercedes-Benz?
Well, I actually rarely try to convince anyone to invest in Tesla. And many times I've recommended people don't invest in Tesla, and I've said our stock is too high, but then people just ignore me and keep buying the stock for some reason. But I think at a very high level, I'd say that autonomy is an insanely fundamental breakthrough, and no one is even close to Tesla for solving generalized autonomy, generalized self-driving vehicles. No one's even close. With self-driving, as I was talking about earlier, the car becomes, call it, roughly 5 times more useful, but it costs the same to build. Now, can you imagine what would happen if a company was doing, we're doing like 25 to 30% gross margins, but suddenly that same thing was 5 times more valuable? What would that do to the value of Tesla and the value of that car? It boggles the mind, actually. So, if you think of net present value of future cash flows, if you actually do the math on that, it's insane. Then there's also the Optimus program, which is our humanoid robot, where we'll leverage our manufacturing expertise and the intelligence we've developed for self-driving to have a useful humanoid robot. Now, the economy is fundamentally GDP per capita times capita. If you no longer have a constraint on capita because of a useful humanoid robot, it's not clear that there's any limit to the size of the economy. And these things will actually happen. So,
Okay,
that's probably a good reason.
One more question. Okay, bring up your time. Okay, this is the last question. Go ahead.
Given all the cars that you're going to make, and I hope Ron's right, whether it's 10 million or 20 million, you're going to need a lot of charging stations around the world.
Yes.
Have you thought about doing it more efficiently and more economically and better for our ecosystem from an ESG perspective?
Like, who got this guy up? Like, he's like, have you thought of doing it better? It's like, bro, just give me the idea.
400 million existing streetlights in the world. And every streetlight has pervasive, consistent electricity. You could take some amount of those streetlights, which are half owned by utilities and half owned by cities, and repurpose that. And that would probably be the most cost-efficient way to roll out millions of charging stations all over the world.
Well, thanks. I think they actually are using that idea in London and some other cities. But I think the long-term goal for our supercharger stations is that they all have solar, like Tesla solar and batteries at them, so that they are, as many as possible, are self-sustaining.
I don't know if it's ever going to be there, but yeah, of course they would have been like talking to the electrical people, the civil engineers, and been like, hey, we want to put a charging station here. Well, just grab it from the lines that are already there with the poles. Like, so he's just like, okay, thanks for the question. We're already doing that. Oh, oops.
Earnings and yield earnings.
Okay. I didn't know you could do this. 10%, 20%, 30%, 40%, 50%, 60%, 70, 80, 90, 100. 0. Okay, anyways. Well, today I've got this best product for you. Okay, so now I record this tab. And then I start, then the fun begins. Then the fun really begins. I'll show you fun. Let's see if I can find it.
So you're 51, and you do 16-hour days, and you work 7 hours a week, and you fly all over the place, and you go to these meetings constantly, and people constantly criticize you for everything. It's amazing to me. I mean, you're changing the world, you're giving yourself. Why do you do this? So my wife says to me, Why are you still working? Why are you still working? What are you doing here?
What are you doing? What are you doing here, Elon? All right, let's get her done.
What I'm working on has an important effect on the future. In the case of Tesla, I think it's fair to say that Tesla has significantly accelerated the advent of sustainable energy. Before Tesla, no one was doing electric cars, and now, as a result of Tesla, I think almost every major car company in the world is building electric cars, and that's a pretty big deal. In the world is building electric cars.
So you do 16-hour days, and you work.
Seriously, I'm safely not a spring chicken anymore.
51.
Yeah. No spring. I think I'm safely not a spring chicken anymore. Late summer chicken?
I'm 79.
But you, I mean, you look great. Yeah, so, well, I've got this like first principles algorithm that I find to be very helpful in the design and manufacturing of anything. And people here may find it helpful. The first thing you should do is make the requirements that you've been given less dumb. Whatever constraints and requirements were given, they were to some degree dumb, and you want to make them less dumb. If you don't start with this, then you get the right answer to the wrong question. And the requirements must be given from a person who can explain the requirement, not from a department, because then you don't know who to talk to. Then step 2 is delete the part or delete the process step. This sounds extremely obvious, and yet over and over again, we have found that parts were not needed. They were just
there. 1302.
Because the entire factory stopped trying to get this laser weld cell to work.
3157.
Most people would say, like, given how the market has evolved this year, the price is on the high side.
Right. Right. But that's on the basis of what it is.
Yes. But in terms of what I think there is a tremendous amount of potential that it will be very difficult to achieve, but I think possible. And I think ultimately it could be one of the most valuable companies in the world.
So.
36.
So we're going to change that rapidly at Twitter. It's going to be transformative. But if we can get enough verified users, and we're going to prioritize Twitter search, replies, mentions by verified users first. And yeah, this is
that's what called amplified.
There's a product plan I wrote, which I wish I'd kept a copy of in July of 2000, where I thought it would be possible to make the most valuable financial institution in the world. And we're going to execute that plan from 22 years ago, which amazingly no one has done. And so I think that's part of why I think Twitter will be ultimately extremely valuable, because I'm going to execute the X.com game plan from 22 years ago with some improvements.
And that's it. That is that video. Tell me I got sound.
Effect on the future.
Woo, I got sound. And it's only like 2 minutes now. So I've got a pretty rich selection. Interview full. It's not actually the full.
我很喜欢冰淇淋，但是速度与激情就。早上好，中国！现在我有冰淇淋，我很喜欢冰淇淋，但是速度与激情就比冰淇淋速度与激情就我最喜欢，所以。
This is a video that's going viral on the internet as a meme right now. It's a video of the famous wrestler, and a meme has been John Cena in a suit, holding an ice cream, and speaking Mandarin. So let me talk about this meme for a minute, or few. This meme is about a video of John Cena in a suit, inside of his car, holding an ice cream and promoting the recently released action movie Fast and Furious 9, which stars John Cena. The movie is being promoted to the Chinese people's public by John Cena. Let me think of the reasons why this is a meme. 1. It's John Cena speaking Mandarin and holding an ice cream. 2. He says been chilling a lot in the beginning. This is the main reason why this became a meme.
早上好，中国！现在我有冰淇淋，我很喜欢冰淇淋，但是速度与激情就比冰淇淋速度与激情。
People on the comments of the video re-uploads on YouTube often point out about how funny it is that John Cena says been chilling off. Looking at the transcript of the video, and then translating it from Chinese Mandarin, we can see that he's talking about ice cream, and he also says Fast and Furious 9 is better than ice cream. So ice cream in Mandarin is bin kai li. So no, he's not saying bin chilling, or bin chilling. Well, technically he is in ice cream in Mandarin is bin kai li. So no, he's not saying bin chilling, or bin chilling. Well, technically he is enunciating bin chilling, but that's not what he's trying to say. So when did this video appear on the internet? It was on the 10th of May, 2020, John Cena posted this video on his Weibo account, promoting Fast and Furious 9. A while after that people re-uploaded the video to YouTube. Then people makes memes. This one uploaded by Crumble on June 19, 2021 is perfect. It's a parody revolving the idea that maybe he's captured by the Chinese government to say things.
现在我有冰淇淋，我很喜欢冰淇淋，但是速度与激情就比冰淇淋速度与激情就我最喜欢。
On the same day lessons in meme culture explained it.
Alright, thanks for that. Okie dokie. Alright, already. So we're down there. We getting tired. Well, it's still 11:30. Probably won't go till 2 in the morning, but maybe. We'll see. But let's get some music on. Yeah, that's kind of the mood I'm feeling, you know, just me over here, me and chillin', being chillin'. Oh yeah, just being chillin'. All right. We just vibing. Yo, those late night vibes. All right. That's what I want. I'll go Berg full.
That's gonna be how it is.
The interview is so quiet.
I'm safely not a spring chicken anymore.
51.
Gross. Did you just cough on me, bro?
Future, in case of Tesla, going. What I'm working on has an important effect on the future. Yeah, so in the world. What I'm working on has every major car company in the world is building electric cars, and that's I think that's a pretty big deal. Right, you get the right answer to the wrong question.
I'm 79.
is make the requirements that you've been given is on the high side.
Right.
Okay, that's much better.
We are summoning the.
What I'm working on has. What I'm working on.
We are summoning the.
There we go. Okay.
Demon.
What I'm working on has an important effect on the future. You know, in the case of Tesla, I think it's fair to say that Tesla has significantly accelerated the advent of sustainable energy. You know, before Tesla, no one was doing electric cars, and now, as a result of Tesla, I think almost every major car company in the world is building electric cars, and I think that's a pretty big deal. The world is building electric cars.
So 16-hour days.
I'm safely not a spring chicken anymore. I'm safely not a spring chicken. Not a spring chicken anymore. Spring chicken. A spring chicken anymore. A spring chicken anymore.
So 16-hour days.
I'm safely not a spring chicken anymore. A spring chicken anymore.
51.
Yeah. No spring. I think I'm safely not a spring chicken anymore. Late summer chicken?
I'm 79.
Just do. I mean, late summer chicken? Late summer chicken? Summer chicken? Late summer chicken?
I'm 79. 79.
Late summer chicken?
79.
Just do. I mean, look great. Yeah. So, well, I've got this like first principles algorithm that I find to be very helpful in the design and manufacturing of anything. And people here may find it helpful. The first thing you should do is make the requirements that you've been given less dumb. Whatever constraints and requirements were given, they were to some degree dumb, and you want to make them less dumb. If you don't start with this, then you get the right answer to the wrong question. Make them less dumb. If you don't start with this, then you get the right answer to the wrong question. And the requirements must be given from a person who can explain the requirement, not from a department, because then you don't know who to talk to. Then step 2 is delete the part or delete the process step. This sounds extremely obvious, and yet over and over again we have found that parts were not needed. They were just and yet over and over again we have found that parts were not needed. They were just because the entire factory stopped trying to get this laser weld cell to work. Because the entire factory stopped trying to because the entire factory stopped trying to get this laser weld cell to work. Most people would say, like, given how the market has evolved this year, the price is on the high side.
Right.
Given how the market has evolved this year, the price is on the high side. Given how the market has evolved this year, the price is on the high side.
Right. Right. But that's on the basis of what it is.
Yes. But in terms of what I think there is a tremendous amount of potential that it will be very difficult to achieve, but I think possible. And I think ultimately it could be one of the most valuable companies in the world.
So
and I think ultimately it could be one of the most valuable companies in the world.
So,
I think ultimately it could be, and I think ultimately it could be one of the most valuable companies in the world. So we're going to change that rapidly at Twitter. It's going to be transformative. But if we can get enough verified users, and we're going to prioritize Twitter search, replies, mentions by verified users first. That rapidly at Twitter. It's going to be. So we're going to change that rapidly. So we're going to change that rapidly at Twitter. It's going to, at Twitter. At Twitter. So we're going to change that rapidly. At Twitter. It's going to be transformative. But if we can get enough verified users, and we're going to prioritize Twitter search, replies, mentions by verified users first. And yeah, this is
that's what called amplified.
The product plan I wrote, which I wish I'd kept a copy of in July of 2000, where I thought it would be possible to make the most valuable financial institution in the world. And we're going to execute that plan from 22 years ago, which amazingly no one has done. And so I think that's part of why I think Twitter will be ultimately extremely valuable, because I'm going to execute the X.com game plan from 22 years ago with some improvements. And that's part of why I think Twitter will be ultimately extremely valuable, because I'm going to execute the X.com game plan from 22 years ago. .com game plan from 22 years ago with some improvements. And from 22 years ago with some improvements. And improvements. But part of why I think Twitter will be ultimately extremely valuable, because I'm going to execute the X.com game plan from 22 years ago with some improvements. And we're going to execute that plan from 22 years ago, which amazingly no one has done. So part of why I think Twitter will be. What I'm working on has important effect on the future. Wrong question. A spring chicken. A spring chicken. Late summer chicken. What I'm working on has important effect on the future. Well, I've got this like first principles algorithm that I find to be very helpful in the.
Did I have it on fast speed? I did. Oh man, oops. I mean, I guess it's probably
design and manufacturing of anything. And people here may find it helpful. The first thing you should do is make the requirements that you've been given less dumb. Whatever constraints and requirements were given, they were to some degree dumb, and you want to make them less dumb. If you don't start with this, then you get the right answer to the wrong question. Is delete the part or delete the process step?
Like.
Smaller number of companies that want me to die. That would
60,000 jobs in all these congressional.
I think this. I have to be careful of what I say here.
Is just reality just too slow for you guys too? Because like for me, I'm just like, man, like that's too slow. Like I'm actually glad I recorded it faster. Because like I don't want it that slow.
First principles algorithm that I find to be very helpful in the design and manufacturing of anything. And people here may find it helpful. The first thing you should do is make the requirements that you've been given less dumb. Whatever constraints and requirements were given, they were to some degree dumb, and we want to make them less dumb. If you don't start with this, then you get the right answer to the wrong question. Is delete the part or delete the process step? This sounds extremely obvious, because the entire factory stopped. Price is on the high side. And I think ultimately it could be one of the most valuable companies in the world. So we're going to change that rapidly, and we're going to execute that plan from 22 years ago, which amazingly no one has done. That's part of why I think Twitter will be ultimately extremely valuable, because I'm going to execute. Well, I've got this first principles algorithm that I find. First principles algorithm that I find. Algorithm. And we're going to execute that plan from 22 years ago, which amazingly no one has done. That's part of why I think Twitter will be part of why I think Twitter will be ultimately. Algorithm will be ultimately extremely. How do I think algorithm will be ultimately will be. Algorithm will be ultimately. I think algorithm will be ultimately extreme. How do I think algorithm will be ultimately extremely valuable, because I'm going to execute. That's part of why I think algorithm will be ultimately extremely valuable, because I'm going to execute the X.com game plan from 22 years ago with some improvements.
But then the rest of these are going to be like...
in the next few years.
slow. Comparatively.
They were to some degree dumb, and we want to make them less dumb. If you don't start with this, then you get the right answer to the wrong question. Is delete the part or delete the process step?
I don't think it's really a big deal that it's 1.75. Like, I can't believe I recorded it. Full speed. Super fast. Super fast. But, welcome back. Welcome back to another episode of The Same. With that in mind, we're going to keep going here for a little bit in the dark. Gonna go ahead and get some of this done. You know, try to get the story done. Try to get the sound prepared. And then tomorrow we'll finish this down. We'll get a bunch of the assets together. We'll animate the character. And who knows? We should finish still on Wednesday. We'll go a little bit harder tomorrow. We'll might start a little bit early. Try to get an earlier day and get the goofing around out of the way and, well, get into the goofing around even quicker. But we'll see how it goes this week. I'd like to step it up a little bit to, like I said, maybe get a little Leslie Moore skit out this week as well. Be fun. Feeling that inspo, so you know, may as well keep on the go. That being said, have yourselves a good night. Thank you for watching. And let's just get to Mars already.